Okay, so first thing I gotta say is I am not a life regenerator hater. Oh, that's a little bit of rhyming there. Um, Not at all. I'm a supporter because and also I want to preface this in saying that I'm not trying to act like a know-it-all or act like I got the formula or anything. I just want to kind of put I've been doing it for a long time. It hasn't ever been my thing to be a teacher or any of that kind of stuff. And just a good friend of mine just said, you got to get on YouTube. And because this is how I wound up here. And I'll try to explain myself because there's a lot of new people coming in because this is controversial for me to be saying this. But I do want to be really upfront is that I am a very, very strong supporter of Dan McDonald and his LifeRegenerator screen name, which is, I hope everybody who does a screen name, for me as being an artist, that expresses your essence or your soul. And so I'm a big supporter because I went through that door, the door that he's advocating. It changed my life, even though I already had a very special life from the point of view of, being sort of born into the hippie era. It was more the postmodern hippie era that I was brought into, which is where a lot of amazing concepts in health food kind of came out of. And although the purity of the raw food movement didn't come out of, or the beginnings was totally based on a lot of religious stuff back in, the earliest thing in America was like 1880 or somewhere in there. And, and there was a raw food restaurant in LA in like 1920 as I've read back. But so my point of view is just that the broadness of the raw food movement and the kind of interface with the pure love, peace mentality of the hippies, those really strongly interfaced because the hippies immediately made a connection with, you are what you eat, or just like, the whole concept of that. And so this is all, and that's where I came from. And that's how I was just like so attracted to health food at a very early age, is because I loved musicians and a lot of music and art, and a lot of musicians when I was 13, 1976, were eating well and talking about it a lot in the press, and that was just like, that just really felt good to me. So in Mr. Dan McDonald, and I'm not trying to be insulting here, I didn't even want to jump in on this, and I just felt a passion to like say, I got to just say something, and I don't want to be opinionated. I've been opinionated. You can go back through some of my older videos and just oh, I can't believe some of the things that I said and stuff like that. But it's on here. If you're interested, instead of reading a book or whatever, or watching some stupid viral video with Justin Bieber, you could like see some stuff. And I just think it's an interesting little honest journey. But I definitely went out of being angry and all that kind of stuff. So I'm babbling here. I just want to say I am a supporter. I just want people to walk through that door, but then keep growing, because some of my videos and stuff is just like, feel with your heart. The problem with a lot of people not knowing what to do, and basically is we think with our brain too much, because it's sort of a very the brain is sort of more of a left brain type thing in terms of, and this is sort of a classic Greek thing, is the wisdom with the passion, was it Apollo and Dionysus, I believe. So the important thing to do is to get away from that sort of 1 + 1 + 1 equals 3 type mentality of the brain and get to the heart. So that's to me, that's the ultimate journey, because the heart is where you feel. And so in the chakra system, the heart is the midpoint. It's the balance point. And so, you know, and I'm very new agey, you know, I've got to defend a few comments here. And you know, I said I wasn't going to talk about this anymore. I should have known better. I knew as soon as I put this video up, it was going to get some people over who've never seen me. And it's really difficult to listen to me and take what I'm saying, because what you're hearing in this particular episode is out of context, because it's all a big work. And I'm not trying to really teach anything in any one video. Maybe some of my videos are amazing. My reishi video was, you know, and I wasn't even intending. I had just really discovered the power of reishi. This is just a diary. This is just like, you know, you're just snooping in on somebody. And I've wondered about how, you know, personal I ought to be. But the fact that I'm reclusive, and, you know, it's just really no big deal for me to, like, talk about everything and just be really open. So the doorway, which Dan McDonald is a big supporter of, is the beginning doorway of just like, yeah, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is drinking lots of juice. I agree with that 100%. You know, and there's a transition that we're going through. So, anyways, so some of the things that were lofted at me about the number one thing I got to address is somebody called me bullshit because I believe in angels, and because I'm gay, and religious also. So religious, I'm not religious at all. I don't support any religions whatsoever in this sort of going into a box and believing that system. That's religion. Now spiritual, that I am big time. Really, really big time, because I always have been. When I was into, you know, when I was a teenager and I got into punk rock, maybe for the briefest moment, I might have been atheist, but maybe that was just because I was so enamored with the sort of energy of punk rock, and that was sort of, anyways, you know, just maybe for 10 seconds I was atheist, but there's just too much connections in the whole world and all that kind of stuff for me not to be spiritual. So, and I made leaps and bounds. The whole angel thing, I was just like, it was a little more serious than that. And some of the people I was around in LA were big into this angel thing, and I just, you know, maybe it was coincidence in the sense of me getting into it or whatever, but I don't think so. But since I've started working with the angels and just getting into some basic, I haven't gone overboard in it because it's just such a simple system. It's worked for me, and so I'm definitely very much a new ager. And the being gay part, it's like, yes, gays have every reason in the world to hate religion, as do like lots of other people that have been persecuted by religion, for sure. It's just like, I'm very much a pagan, but I'm also a Catholic. Catholics went out and killed, you know, this is back during the Inquisition and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, because a system has been perverted by people who maybe meant well, for sure, but were really not operating from an area of purity and empathy. That is a big important thing in all of this, is this empathy, you know. And in my getting on this issue was empathy, because it was for like this woman. It was just like the tone that I could hear in her voice was just ripping through me, and normally I just, like, there's so much bad advice. I don't feel like, it's not my mission to challenge everybody. And the reason I did challenge this is just because Dan's hugely popular, you know, and I'm not down on that, but I'm just saying a lot of this kind of area that he's coming from is not new. The thinking is so 25 years ago, you know, for sure. The raw food movement is not new. It did not start with I've heard people say, oh, back in the day with David Wolf. When David Wolf started it, it was already around for a long time. You know, and it was a very small, esoteric crowd. And I'm an anarchist, and so I think a part of the reason why I've been attracted to the raw food thing, which is like started very early for me, is just because I'm always attracted to what's esoteric, what's eclectic, what's extreme, you know. And so, anyways, oh, so the gay and religious, no, gay and spiritual. I know lots of gay men like that, and arguably a lot of spiritual movers and shakers have been gay, and there's just a very collective consciousness thing, because I think a lot of gay men these days are very irresponsible with their position that they have. I think they should be more mystics instead of out doing crystal meth and taking ecstasy and dancing to gay club remixes of Lady Gaga. So in that sense, I'm a very big critic of gay culture, but traditionally a lot of gay mystics, inventors, you know, there's a lot of speculation about people like Leonardo da Vinci being gay and Michelangelo, and there's a great book on this topic called How Homosexuals Saved Civilization. So it's just the stereotype of the gay thing, and maybe that gays are still lost in trying to be like everybody else. So that's just, I can understand where you're coming from with that. So also I want to say, what was one of the other comments? Oh, about happiness and eating fruit, and that I am a really happy person. I seriously am. And it's just like, but I'm a very emotional person. I really, my happiness is like expressed, again, this kind of heart thing, you know, of like, if I stand out, like today I just was out, I live in the mountains, and the clouds are just, and I'm just like so moved. And if I'm to stand there and look at something like that, I'm going to have a very solemn sort of look about it, like I'm moved, and I'm honestly just feeling lots of energy. And now another person seeing the same thing might be, oh wow, look at that. You know, I can't even do it because I'm not like that, and I don't like laugh that much either. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy. You know, it's just like I was listening to some good comedy last night on NPR when I was taking care of some errands and stuff. And it was all just like, I don't necessarily see comedy as funny. I see it as kind of clever, you know? So, but I do laugh. I have laughed, and a lot of people are like, whoa, you do laugh, or whatever. But I guarantee you, I'm like, few people know anybody as happy as me. So when you know me in real time, and that's so people associating happiness with fruit, maybe that's just because sugar, it's an addiction, you know? I don't know. Sugar is an addiction, for sure. You know, a very prominent taste, and the presence of sugar is like, it's interesting to read a book by Terence McKenna called Food of the Gods, and to like understand human culture and written history before sugar really came in, and the import of fruits and stuff like that, because a lot of northern countries never knew anything about the taste of sweet. So, oh, and sugar, just so you all know, like, sugar is, you know, fructose is sugar, lactose is sugar, you know, so that's the thinking of the body ecology diet, is basically sugar feeds the invaders. It's a simple thing that makes sense. And just in case you think Donna Gates is crap, Gabriel Cousins, with the Tree of Life, this was the first book I read, which was Gabriel's, called The Rainbow Green Diet, and he touches on a little more science elements to the zero sugar diet and he's not actually addressing candida either. He's just addressing all the sort of microbes and stuff in the body. Donna Gates' book is a little more of a direct dealing with candida. So I first learned about it through Gabriel, and then when I got to know Truth, or was getting into Truth Calkins, he was a big pusher of body ecology. And I like that just because it's a good manual for the general principle of it, because that approach can be applied to any diet, even if you're just sort of eating the standard American diet. So I'm on 15 minutes. I don't get paid, so I have to go right now. Bye.